Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, Prajit, make yourself comfortable.
Yes, I'm comfortable.
And tell me once you are comfortable. Okay. So, Prajit, you're ready for your interview?
Yes, sir.
So, as we call it a coaching interview, so this is likely to be your coaching interview, but as far as possible, we'll make it realistic. What you will experience in your original actual SSB.
Rajat, tell me where are you coming from?
Sir, I've currently completed my education from Pune, so I'm currently coming here from Pune, but I'm natively from Kerala. I spent most of my life in my schooling in Muscat, Oman.
Okay. So tell me the place that you're coming from.
So my native place is Kerala, if that's the
So
question.
you have come to this place from Kerala?
No, sir. I have traveled here from Pune.
Pune?
Yes, sir.
So what were you doing in Pune?
So I was pursuing my bachelor's in business administration in Pune.
Pursuing your?
Bachelor's in business administration, BBA degree from Pune.
Okay. So have you completed it or you are still studying there?
No, sir. I've completed. My final exams were on 18th of April, and after that I immediately came here for coaching.
Okay. So tell me about your journey to this place. How interesting was it? Was something interesting in your journey, or what all happened during your journey to this place?
Sir, I left Pune on 29th. I flew in from Pune. I had a connecting flight through Delhi. I had to wait for a few hours in Delhi, and then I flew into Chandigarh. I took a cab from the airport to the hostel, and Prabjeet sir greeted me there.
Okay.
It was an uneventful journey, sir, and I had good rest after coming back, and the flight was also comfortable.
Anything interesting happened during your journey?
Sir, I got to go around Delhi only inside a bus, but when I'm going back, I'll get to spend a day in Delhi. So I didn't get to explore the city as much, but then I will get to do it when I'm going back.
Okay. So, Prajit, as I can see that you have spent maximum residence in Muscat.
Yes, sir.
So, tell me something about Muscat.
So Muscat is a port city. It's in Oman, Sultanate of Oman. It faces the Arabian Sea. India has a presence in Muscat port. The Indian Navy has berthing rights there. Sir, if you ever come to Muscat, it has very beautiful forts. It has good mountains and it has good beaches to visit.
Okay. So tell me some places that you have visited in Muscat and what did you like about it?
So near where I live is Mathura Port. So there's an area called Corniche where it's almost 1.6 kilometer drive around the ocean. It's a very scenic place, sir, to go for jogs and walks, and that's the place I frequent the most because it is walking distance from my house. There are a lot of forts in and around my area which we go climb for photography. And there's good food, sir. So most of the times now when I go back, I would spend my time with my friends going around these areas and exploring the food cuisine there.
So other than forts?
So there are forts because it used to be a historically sea-facing country. You have forts which have cannons, and cannons are still present there as part of decorations to fend off from foreign navy attacks. So there are mountains.
Tell me their names and why are they famous? What are they famous for?
So I'm not sure about the history of the forts, but the most famous fort that I've been to is Mathura Fort. There's also a Nizwa Fort which is present in Nizwa, which is around 4 hours drive away from my home. That fort was a garrison for the Omani troops, and even if you go there now, it's the museum. You can go and spend time and learn about the history of the fort there.
So what did you learn from that history? What was that history?
Like I said, it was a military garrison for troops before. But sir, that we didn't go into the fort exactly. We went to explore the rest of the city.
How many days or years or months you stayed in Muscat?
Sir, so how it was I went there when I was 45 days old for the first time.
Okay.
And we would travel almost 2 times a year. And I came back to India to study my UKG and LKG. Then from first grade to 12th grade, I studied in Oman. So easily I spent 14 to 15 years in Oman. So.
14, 15 years, and you've seen only one fort there.
No, sir, I've seen the forts in and around my locality, which is Mathura Fort, which was in walking distance. And it was difficult. Sir, it was easy to walk around, which was within 2 kilometers of my house.
Okay.
And all the forts further away require transportation by car, and the public transportation system there is underdeveloped. So usually only after I turned 18 and I got my driver's license have I been able to explore the farther up areas by myself. Otherwise, it was always with parents whenever we were going on vacations.
So your parents never went out to any port or any other visiting place?
No, sir. My parents like to go to resorts to enjoy their vacations, so because both of them work, so they like to unwind during the vacations. There are also a lot of mountains. Jabal Shams and Jabal Akhtar are two major mountains that we go to, and there are desert safaris that we go on when we get an opportunity.
So what is the history of Oman?
Sir, Oman was under colonial rule, and I think in the 17th century was when it got its freedom. But sir, I'm not very much aware about the history of Oman.
So any other place you visited from Oman or Muscat?
Sir, Wadi Adai was a desert which we visited. We go there very often. I mean, at least we used to go there once a year when we were staying in Oman. We would go around December when it was cold, and my parents would have holidays from their work, and so would me and my brother have holidays from my school. We would camp there in a desert camp itself. So it used to be a form of a hotel, but concrete structures, small structures, and they used to call it a camp. We would go on desert safaris, we would go stargazing at night, and we would go dune bashing during the day.
Stargazing means?
Sir, since it's away from the city, there was no light pollution. So at night, if you sit outside, you can see a lot of stars and constellations.
And which are those places which generally visitors go to in Muscat?
Sir, in and around my area, there is a place called the Mathura Souk. A souk is basically a market, a bazaar. And Mathura Souk is a very vast souk. There's a lot of small shops.
How far is Doha?
So Doha is, people can go there by flight, or it might take 7 hours by car.
Distance wise?
Sir, I'm not aware of the distance. I've never been to Doha.
Okay. Which are other big cities in Oman other than Muscat?
So Muscat is the biggest city. There's also a city of Barka where most of production and farming takes place.
Say again?
There's a city of Barka. B.A.R.K.A.
B.A.R.K.A.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So that's where most of the farming happens in Oman, and that's where also factories and production happens in Oman.
What is it famous for?
So farms.
Only?
Yes, sir.
So people go there also?
There are usually native people there, and there are companies that are coming up there. I know about the place because my father's company goes there to the company my father works in goes there to do projects. So people there have told us about.
And when and how did you shift to your native place in Kerala?
So we have not shifted back to Kerala as yet. Kerala is my permanent address because in Oman we are still renting the house, but we have our house in Kerala. The rest of my extended family lives in Kerala. And my parents have built a house in Kerala, but we have not shifted back yet.
So when and how did you decide that you should leave Muscat and come here and do your further studies?
Sir, I always knew that after my 12th grade, I would not continue pursuing my education in Muscat.
Reasons?
Sir, there were not a lot of developed universities there, and the few good universities there were primarily open to locals. The biggest university was Sultan Qaboos University, which they preferred locals, and the fees they charge for Indians or other country people were higher, and the acceptance rate was lower. Acceptance rate for expatriates were lower there. It's almost zero when it comes to expatriates.
Means?
Sir, Sultan Qaboos University is a government university, and they prefer their students to be Omani citizens.
And what happens to all other people?
Most people, sir, usually go back to their home countries, or they go to other abroad countries to pursue their education.
Okay. So what were other options available other than returning to this?
Sir, it was either come back to India for a few colleges, or apply for colleges in Canada or other countries where education was available for me.
And what is the reason why they have such a policy where they are not accepting other countries?
Sir, Oman has undergone a recent policy change of Omanization. So the past ruler had a policy where he wanted more expatriates to work because he knew his local people were not as skilled, and expatriate labor could improve the country's infrastructure. But now the country has grown, and the local people are also demanding jobs for themselves, because the local people usually get jobs as a level of clerks, but the management positions usually go to other expatriates, usually Indians and foreigners from US and from UK. So now the local people want to take more work into their hands. So they have introduced policies that a certain percentage of their workforce has to be local. And that policy is being run throughout schools, through colleges, and through workplaces.
Okay. And tell me the choices that you had after your return to India, and why did you choose that institute which you have decided to join?
So my choices was between NMIMS Mumbai, Ncaacademy Institute of Management Studies Mumbai, Symbiosis Center for Management Studies Pune, as these were ranked 4th and 5th, if I remember correctly, at the time of my application. So in between both of them, I was okay with getting either. I also applied for Christ University as my backup option, but I was happy that I got into Symbiosis and Ncaacademy. And ultimately, the choice just came down to location between Pune and Mumbai, and I chose Pune, sir, because I felt Pune life would be more comfortable for me.
Reasons why Pune is more comfortable?
So it was a mix of mine and my mother's decision. I have family that lives in Pune, and my mother has also lived in Pune herself. So she preferred that I went to Pune. I was open to the idea of going to Bombay, but when I looked at the college placements and everything, almost everything was similar, and there was no real tangible difference between the two colleges, and I picked Pune. And sir, another small reason was that I knew Symbiosis College was close to the airport, and a Sukhoi 30 squadron was there, and I just wanted to be close to that.
Why BBA and why not anything else?
Sir, my choice after doing PCM was engineering, obvious choice, but I didn't really feel interested in doing engineering. My goal at the end of the day was to join flying and to join the Indian Air Force in the flying branch. And all I required was that I had to have 10 plus 2 science, and I did 10 plus 2 science, and after that they just required a 3-year degree at minimum. So I wanted to pursue a degree that interested me, and engineering did not interest me. What drew me towards BBA was the field of marketing. When I researched it, I had applied to NMIMS's 2 degrees, one open BBA, one marketing BBA, and Symbiosis. I preferred Symbiosis in the way that they had a cafeteria approach, basically, where the first year you would have all the subjects, and second year onwards you could choose a specialization. So I knew I was interested in marketing. I wanted to try the other subjects, and when I got to my second year, I did marketing and finance as my 2 majors.
So you decided BBA because you just wanted one degree and it was of your interest.
Sir, I felt like it would be my back. I knew it was going to be my backup option, and I wanted my backup option to be something I still had interest in. So,
Yeah, I didn't understand. Backup option means what?
so my first preference was to clear NDA at 12th, but that didn't happen. So
What happened? What exams you gave? How many times you gave? And what was your result?
All right, sir. I attempted NDA once. I applied for it twice. It was during
When was it?
sir, 2021 September.
21 September.
Yes, sir. NDA 2.
Okay. After finishing your 12th.
Yes, sir. So what happened was I applied for the exam before that, but due to COVID lockdowns, the 2 exams happened together, and due to travel restrictions, I was not able to come to India to attend the paper because I was still living in Oman. So I missed out on that attempt, and after I gave my NDA 2 attempt, that was my last attempt. I had aged out after that, sir.
What happened? What was the result?
Sir, my maths paper, I could not clear my maths paper, sir.
Why?
So my preparation strategy was not adequate.
Why was that?
So it was actually my first competitive paper, and I didn't prepare for it like a competitive paper. I did 2 previous year's questions, but I didn't really time myself, and I prepared it more for like my board exam than a competitive paper. So when it came to actually solving the paper, I had made a few mistakes. I understood that mistake and I improved on it for my.
What do you mean with first competitive paper?
Sir, I did not appear for JEE since I was not interested in engineering, and in
You were not interested in engineering.
yes, sir.
But initially you just mentioned that you initially wanted the B.TECH only.
No, sir. I said after PCM, the common option is engineering, but I was not interested in pursuing that career. That's what I meant to say. Sir, it's just that the area never interested me. I looked into aeronautical engineering, but I realized it is not a prerequisite to becoming a pilot. And my end goal was to fly, sir. It was not to become an aeronautical engineer.
I'm not understood. You want to become a pilot, you don't like aeronautical, and you didn't want engineering. Give me the reasons. I'm not understood clearly.
So my end goal was to become a pilot, and aeronautical engineering was a 4-year degree, but BBA was a 3-year degree. And I knew aeronautical engineering was not a necessity to become a pilot, neither commercially nor in the Indian Air Force. So I didn't.
Aeronautical engineers become pilot.
So they have an option to.
They have an option to become a pilot.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
As in, someone who studied engineering can still attempt for AFCAT, can still attempt for CDS.
Okay.
But I didn't feel like it would benefit me in any way besides getting some knowledge about it.
tell me the reasons why you thought it will not benefit you and you didn't want to pursue engineering despite choosing maths and science in 12th and then also trying to become an pilot. You think they don't require any knowledge of engineering?
No, sir, they definitely do. But as far as I know, they would teach that knowledge in the Air Force Academy because the people who come to study there come
How
from.
will it help you by learning BBA and then also becoming a pilot, but trying to learn those things only waiting in academy?
Sir, the BBA was not to help me to become a pilot. It was so that I could get my graduate degree enough and I could work as in a backup option in case my piloting aspirations does not work out. I could still work in an.
Tell me about your backup options. What are your backup options?
Right, sir. So my first preference is to go for AFA, clear my AFA, AFCAT exam and go for AFA through SSB. Second is
Which SSB?
clear SSB and go to AFA. So that is my first option.
Clear SSB and go to AFA.
Yes, sir. Air Force Academy.
But is that called backup option?
No, no, sir. I'm listing all my options. My second option, if I age out after the age of 24, if I cannot apply for AFCAT and CDS further, I will get my pilot's license and I will continue applying through the DGCA provision for up to the age of 26.
Continue applying means, have you been applying earlier?
I have applied now, sir.
When?
Applied for AFCAT 2 last year and AFCAT 1 this year.
You said DGCA. You will continue applying for DGCA.
I will continue applying for AFCAT, sir. AFCAT and CDS, sir.
You said backup option.
Yes, sir.
After AFA, what is your backup option?
So after AFA, my backup option is to go into commercial aviation.
Commercial, how?
So through DGCA commercial pilot's license.
How?
Sir, I have not finalized the flight schools that I would want to go to because that time would change within the next 4 years. But I would go to a flight school, get my pilot's license, and become a commercial pilot, sir.
I'm still confused. You're saying next 4 years is you will continue to work towards joining AFA.
Yes, sir.
So you have that much of time available for joining AFA, and after 4 years you will try for commercial pilot's license.
Yes, sir.
So why wait for those 4 years?
So because I want to join the Air Force, commercial pilot is my backup option.
Okay.
So if it does not work out, my passion would still be into flying.
Okay.
And for the span of 4 years, I would not want to waste it. So my option C is to go through this college placement which I have received as well.
So tell me, what do you know about Air Force aviation? What are the rules? What are the tests that they conduct for becoming a pilot? And how many attempts will they give you for joining and becoming a pilot in Air Force?
Sir, my attempts are restricted as per AFCAT rules and CDS rules. So I have up till the age.
What are those things which restrict you or which allow you to keep actively
Yes, sir.
trying for it?
So I can join the academy before I attain the age of 24. Up to the age of 24. I have one attempt at my computerized pilot selection system aptitude test, which is formally known as pilot aptitude test, which will happen after my SSB. If I clear that, then I have cleared that for the rest of my life. If I don't clear it, I cannot re-attempt it for the rest of my life. These are the entries, and I can enter through CDS exam or AFCAT exam.
So AFCAT, you will get one trial, one test, and thereafter again in CBS you will get another attempt for
No.
CPSs.
No, sir. I'll only get one CPSS attempt for my life.
So then you said you will wait for 4 years
Sir?
for DGCA.
Yes, sir.
So why wait for 4 years?
Sir, I'm confident I will be able to clear CPSS. If I don't, then I will start applying.
Confident means you are already here for SSB.
Yes, sir.
Your CPSS will be conducted within next whatever stipulated time.
Yes, sir.
Maximum 6 months. So you will come to know whether you are eligible to become or not eligible to become through CPSS.
Yes, sir, I will.
So why wait for 4 years for backup options?
Sir, my assumption is that I will clear my CPSS exam. If I don't, then I will re-evaluate my options. But I'm still working on the assumption that I will clear my CPSS exam.
Okay, assuming you don't clear it, then what happens?
So then I will move towards my backup options.
What are those backup options?
My commercial pilot's license.
But you said you will continue trying joining AFA first.
So,
AFA is only flying or something else also?
so at AFA they teach all the courses, sir. But my childhood passion and my drive is towards flying, and I know.
But if you don't clear CPSS,
Yes.
as you said, it is one-time option. What happens? Can you still join flying?
No, sir.
Then what is your option?
So then I can join the other. If I clear my SSB, I can still join the other fields that I've appeared for if I make them.
What are your options? That is what I'm saying. What is your order of preference? What is your plan? Tell me about your backup options in that case. What will your backup options be?
So my other preferences for AFCAT when I fill my form was logistics, administration, prepins, and accounts in that order.
Reasons why that order?
Sir, I like the job profile of logistics because I heard a quote.
Reasons why you like logistics?
So because I feel it's a very challenging job to do because logistics is what wins wars.
Others are not as challenging.
They are, sir, but to me, logistics is what I find intriguing.
There must be some reason why you think logistics is more challenging.
So because logistics form the backbone of any good operation and logistics form the backbone of any war, which has been seen throughout past wars as well. One good example that I can give you is in World War II. Germany lost the battle even though they had better equipment. They did not have fuel and ammunition reaching the tanks in the front. So it was a common saying that the Germans would run out of ammunition before the Americans would run out of tanks because they were not able to provide them with, because the logistic lines were cut through. So logistics requires a lot of planning and it's a very challenging job, and I feel like that would be beneficial for me. That would be something that I would be interested in.
What do you think you will be doing in logistics?
Sir, planning the transportation and the movement of men, material, food, ammunition. That is the primary role of
material,
food and ammunition, sir.
food and ammunition.
Yes, sir.
And is there any difference between army logistics and air force logistics?
Sir, now with theaterization, they have started to work together, but the kind of equipment and the ammunition that they're moving will be different.
So, will Air Force provide the ammunition or will Army provide the ammunition?
So, from the reserves of ammunition, they would plan the logistics accordingly.
Who?
Sir, ammunition is not manufactured directly from the Air Force, sir.
So who will provide ammunition? Army or Air Force?
Sir, I'm not sure about this answer, sir.
What do you think?
So, I feel the Air Force will have their own reserves for their ammunition.
Air Force will provide ammunition to whom?
To the forward air bases.
Forward air bases?
Yes, sir. The forward air bases are headquarters and every other air base where it's operating where they require ammunition. And they would also provide, Air Force also provides logistic supports to army bases which are in remote positions through helicopters.
Some ammunition that you have heard about which are used in aviation?
Sir, there are different types of missiles that we use. We have a classification of Fox 2 missiles, which is R-77, which is a Russian missile. It's an infrared-based missile. It's air-to-air medium range. What it does is it tracks the heat of another aircraft, and it's called a heat seeker. It tracks the heat of the aircraft and chases it.
Tell me, how does the aircraft rise?
So there are 4 forces that act on an aircraft. There is thrust that pushes it forward. There's drag that pulls it backward. There's lift that pushes it up, and there's weight and gravity that pulls the aircraft down.
So have you learned anything about flying till now from any of the sources?
Yes, sir.
Where?
Sir, it's not directly flight school related, but it is documentaries and information that I've learned through YouTube and through reading.
So tell me the principle on which aircraft flies.
So it's Bernoulli's theorem.
So tell me the principle.
Sir, I will not be able to give you the correct definition, but I can tell you how it works. It is based on the principle of pressure above and pressure below. So the wings are shaped in such a way that the airspeed above the wing is fast and the airspeed below the wing is slow. So there's a low pressure area above the wing and high pressure area below the wing, which pushes the wing up and lifts the entire aircraft up.
Okay. Then how does it comes down?
Sir, when you reduce the airspeed, you start adding drag to the aircraft. It slowly starts reducing it. So
Drag at where?
So most aircraft have something called a system of flaps, which is a wing extension in the back, and sometimes in the front called slats, which is a wing extension in the front. It increases the surface area of the wing, reduces drag while also increasing the lift generated by the wing. They also have a system of speed breakers which spoil the airflow above the wing. It's sometimes used to increase the speed rate of descent, but it's usually used on the ground. Spoilers will completely block the airflow on the wing and create a lot of drag on the wing. So
you don't know Bernoulli's theorem.
So I cannot define the theorem exactly, sir.
Right?
Sir, I have not revised the theorem, sir.
You're not as passionate to learn this theorem.
So I know how the theorem works. I'm not. It's very hard for me to by heart the theorem, sir.
Why is it so hard? You are passionate about joining.
Yes, sir.
And becoming a pilot. Bernoulli's theorem is how long? Is it too long to learn, remember, or what is it?
No, sir. I usually like to learn by example and understanding it. So I understand the principle of Bernoulli's theorem, but it's just the definition does not come to me every time, sir.
What is the difficulty in learning or remembering?
So there is no difficulty as such. Right now, I'm not able to recollect it, sir.
What is the formula?
Sir, I am not aware of that, sir.
Okay. And tell me, you said thrust.
Yes, sir.
So what happens to power?
So
Power. How is power generated in an aircraft?
So through a combustion engine.
Tell me the process.
Sir, okay, so I can give you an example of a commercial jet engine or a jet engine on a C-17 Globemaster, which is a transport aircraft used by by our Air Force. So it has an internal combustion chamber and a big fan in the front. The big fan sucks air in, and there's a bypass area and there's a combustion area. In the combustion area, the air is first compressed, then it's combusted with fuel, and it's given out as exhaust. That is the primary source of thrust, and nowadays the engines are getting bigger, and the bypass air that moves past the engine, moves past the combustion chamber, also provides thrust. So the fuel, yes, sir.
So how is the power generated in this?
So through combustion of fuel, sir.
So through combustion, how much power will it generate?
Sir, I'm not aware of the exact value, sir.
So what happens in case of a heavier aircraft or a turboprop aircraft or a jet aircraft or propeller aircraft, piston aircraft?
Okay. Sir, in the case of a propeller aircraft, there is no internal combustion that happens. It's an engine which has a rod that's connected to a propeller. Most of the times, the propeller is what moves, and the propeller has variable angles. So the angle that the propeller deflects determines how much thrust is provided by the propeller. In the case of a jet engine, sir, usually there is no bypass air. It's all through a combustion chamber. And in the case of fighter jets, they also have a system of an afterburner. So which is at the end of the combustion cycle, there is still some oxygen left in the air. So they inject fuel directly into the end. The only issue is that it's a very inefficient process. So they only use it for a short takeoffs or maybe high energy required dogfights or engagements. Sir. That's the principle.
So that will be sufficient.
Sir, in a fighter jet, that will be sufficient, sir.
Okay. And non-fighters?
So non-fighters usually they design it in such a way that the engines.
What is the difference between helicopter flying and transport aircraft flying?
So helicopter is classified under rotary wing of the Indian Air Force.
What principle do they work on?
So they have a central rotor which rotates to provide lift for the helicopter. They rotate the blades of that central propeller, as you call it, tilts forward and backward to control the pitch of the rotor. And they have a counter rotating tail rotor in the back to counter the torque that's produced by the rotor on top. So,
what principle are they working on?
Sir, I'm not aware of the principle of rotary aircraft. So,
okay. Tell me about. You said you have joined Pune.
Yes, sir.
And your hometown is Kerala.
Yes, sir.
So, is there anybody staying in Kerala and do you visit Kerala anytime?
Yes, sir. I have on my mother's side, I have my maternal grandparents staying there. Grandfather and grandmother live together. And on my father's side, we have extended family that lives there. Our family lives in one large compound. So my father's elder brother and his family lives there, and one of his younger brothers and their family lives there.
Did you choose any of the colleges which are good in Kerala for your further studies?
No, sir. I looked at a national scale, and in that symbiosis, and NMIMS were 4th and 5th or 5th and 6th in the rankings.
Which is the first one?
So it was one of the Delhi universities, excluding the government universities of IIMs. It was one of the Delhi universities that was in the first.
So you didn't try for that?
No, sir.
Why?
So my mother was against the idea of me moving to Delhi. She wanted me to stay close.
Reasons?
So it was her comfort. She did not know anyone in Delhi.
She takes decisions in your case?
No, sir, I was okay with that decision because the difference between the Delhi University and Pune symbiosis was not that big for me.
Tell me some other decisions which your mother took for you.
So most of the decisions are discussed with us and we come to a common solution.
Tell me some decisions which she took and you were comfortable, you accepted those decisions.
So the one decision was that when I was younger, I wanted to directly start flying after 12th. But even if I look back at it now, I realize that is not a very smart decision.
Right.
So because the aviation market is a very unstable market, and not having any qualifications is not a good thing in the market. So a BBA degree would be beneficial.
What is the required qualification?
10th plus 2, sir.
So why do you say it is not good?
So because if I'm considering my backup option of commercial flying, sir, it is important that you have a degree because after you join the airline, you have to grow in the airline, and they would value someone with a business degree more than someone without any degree, sir.
Where did you find this?
Sir, I listened to talks of active commercial pilots. I also have a family friend who is in Indigo as a pilot, and he also told me that management pilots are usually people with degrees. Not always, but usually people with degrees.
So your mother told you this or you decided this?
So my mother told me this at that point. Then she helped me get in contact with my family friend, and since he's someone who was in the industry, his words and my mother's concerns got to me in the end, and I decided that I would not really lose much by going to a college.
Okay, now coming to your studies.
Yes, sir.
You have been studying in Muscat also and then further in Pune.
Yes, sir.
Starting from class 10, tell me about the subjects chosen in your class 10 and for further studies. Also the reasons why you chose those subjects. Which one did you like the most and why? Also tell me about your friends. How do you spend time with them? Who's your best friend and why do you consider him as your best friend? Talk about your teachers. Who are those teachers who like you or those who don't like you as much? Also, the teachers whom you like and those whom you did not like and the reasons why.
Alright. So starting from my 10th grade, we didn't have a choice of subjects in 10th grade. It was only our extra subjects. So I had taken my language as French and my extra subject as music.
Tell me all the subjects that you had.
Sir, I had science and under science. I had science, social studies, English, maths, and French.
And French.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
French was my second language, sir. In 10th,
Only 4 subjects and 1 optional.
sir, social studies was divided into history, geography, polity, and economics. Science was divided into chemistry, physics, and biology, but it was all under the same paper.
Okay. What were the 2 other subjects?
So, work experience, which was computer studies for us.
Tell me the names of subjects once again.
So, English, French, science, social studies, maths, work experience.
And
Work experience, sir. It was what we called computer science in our school.
you called it
Work ex, sir.
computer science also.
So they taught us computer science, but in our school we refer to that subject as work ex, sir.
Okay, this is about 10th you're saying, huh?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I scored 91.8% in my CBSE 10th boards. In 11th, I took physics, chemistry, maths, computer science, and English as my 5 subjects. And
Why is it?
so it was a prerequisite for flying in the Air Force and in commercial. Sir, 12th, the subjects were the same.
How much in 11?
Sir, I had around 86%, sir.
Okay.
And in 12th, sir, my marks were 91.4% with the same subjects. So then I went to study BBA in symbiosis, and my final percentage is 72%. So then you asked me about my teachers. In terms of my favorite teacher, one of them has to be Mr. Gonzalez. He was our vice principal and he also taught us English.
Which class?
Sir, in 12th.
In 12th?
Yes, sir.
Okay. No teachers in 10th, 11th or any other class?
Yes, sir. In 10th, my favorite teacher was Miss Tamala Rassi. She was a class teacher and she also taught us math.
She taught you maths?
Yes, sir.
Why was she favorite?
So she was a good teacher, and as a class teacher, she was a very caring person. In 10th, since I was a class prefect, I got to work with her closely. And she not only made us work for the class, but she also cared about our own education. If we missed our class, she would come and help us. If we go to her, she would help us in our free time as well to understand what was taught. And if I had any doubts, she would teach me. And in 10th, I got my highest marks in maths.
How much?
95%, sir.
Okay. That was the highest?
Yes, sir.
What was second highest?
So science was 93%, sir.
Who got the second highest marks?
No, sir.
Maths.
My highest marks was 95 in maths. The highest marks in maths was 100, sir.
100?
Yes, sir.
So, what was the reason you could not score 100?
Sir, I had made some mistakes in the paper which had gone by me when I was cross-checking it. That was the only reason. I was good at maths in 10th grade, sir.
Okay. Continue.
Sir, in college, my favorite professor was Mr. Bijoy Jha. He taught us two subjects. First was sales and distribution. Second was advertising and public relations. He taught me for a full year over 2 semesters. Sir, if I come to my least favorite teachers, I didn't like a few teachers who I felt were not as driven in teaching as my favorite teachers. In 10th, it was in 11th, it was Mr. George Kuti. He was my sorry, sir. In 10th, it was Mr. George Kuti, who was my biology teacher. And sir, I found it very difficult to understand in his class because he would speak very softly and he would not explain things in great detail. And biology was already one of my weak areas. And sir, similarly in 10th, I had a teacher called Miss Sheena, who would teach primarily from PPTs, who would read out the PowerPoints, but she would again not explain history like a story, and she would not explain civics to us. So we would have to go home and study it ourselves because she would just provide the material, but we had to study. Sir, in college also had a similar experience with a teacher called Miss Soma. Sir, she would dictate notes and she would expect us to write it down, and she would teach to us like we were in school. She would not explain the concepts to us and she would not engage us in any way. It was all that we had to write down, then she would make us fill in the blanks, and that was the class. And I didn't find that to be very engaging, sir, as a class.
What subject?
So she taught us auditing, and she also taught us financial reporting standards in the 6th semester.
Okay. So what was the reason why you didn't tell her this is the problem I am facing and I need to learn better?
Sir, actually, she had taught one of the other classes previous year as well, and the entire class raised a complaint to the coordinator, but the management said there's nothing they could do and you will just have to bear with the teaching the way it is.
Any other teacher whom you complained against?
No, sir, I didn't raise a complaint because it was already done and we knew what the response was. But I have not complained against any other teachers. So everyone had different teaching styles. I just liked the teaching style, so I didn't like the teaching styles.
Okay.
So that's it. I have not had disregard for any other teachers. I was okay with their teaching styles after that.
One more question that I asked you.
So you asked me about my friends. So you asked me about my friends. My friends are Umar Bawa.
Umar Baba.
Umar Bawa. Yes, sir.
Spell it.
UMAR BAVA.
B-A. Umar Baba.
Umar. UMAR BAVA. Piyush Shivakumar.
Which class?
Sir, Umar and Piyush are both of them I met in 11th.
11th.
Yes, sir.
Where are they now?
Sir, Umar is in MIT University in Manipal. Piyush is studying in University of Toronto.
Manipal where?
Sir, MIT University. I'm not visited in Manipal, sir, so I don't know exactly where.
So you don't know the location where it is.
No, sir, I don't know exactly.
Okay, and Piyush?
Piyush is in University of Toronto in Canada.
Okay. So how do you keep in touch with these people?
Sir, over the weekends, we once in a while we get together on a video call. Since three of us are in the same friend group, three of us are a friend group, we get together on a video call together. We discuss what has happened and how we.
Okay, continue.
So another friend of mine is Arpan Sudhi. He's been my close friend since 6th grade, sir. He's currently in UK and he's in London, sir, and he's studying forensic science.
Forensic science.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It's the University of Anglo. So another friend of mine is Neha Bashri. She's with me since college. She was my classmate since first year of college, sir. And my final friend would be Shagin Rodriguez, sir. She was my friend since 9th grade.
Okay.
These are 5 of my friends, and my best friend, sir, would come to Umar Park. Because I spent most time with him, and we shared a lot of details, and he's helped me through a lot of things, and I also helped him.
Tell me 5 such things which you shared only with Umar.
So usually things that relate to my personal life, what I talked about with my parents, if there were any discussions or arguments with my parents, would be the if I was
narrate some incidents and examples what you shared with him.
Sir, I can give you one major example that happened was during COVID time. At one point, my father and brother got COVID while we were in Oman, and I had to take care of a lot of the family needs. So Umar would come with me when I had to go out to help me to make sure that I was doing all right, because I was also under stress that both my father and brother were sick, and I had to do a lot of chores for the house. So he would come with me to make sure that I was doing well, and he helped me. He supported me through that time.
Where was he?
He was also in Oman, sir. So he would wear his mask, I would wear my mask, and he would come with me when we had to go out to buy groceries, when I had to go and buy food. So also during college application and during college exams, if there was a lot of stress, especially he used to go through stress because he's doing a computer science course. He would call me and I would
stress doing computer science course.
Yes, sir.
Means?
Sir, his course is pretty challenging, pretty demanding for him. Sometimes during the exams, he would feel low or feel stressed, and he would call me and we would talk about it. And I would just reassure him that he's putting a best effort and it will work. Because he's a smart person, he would just sometimes feel stressed that his preparation is not enough, but he will end up scoring better. Sir, some of the other discussions were private between me and regarding his life and my life, so I would not like to discuss that because it was related to his family incidents.
So whom do you discuss such problems with, other than Umar?
Sir, most of the times it is Umar, sir, because we usually think along the same lines, and if there is something that I need to, someone needs to tell me something, you tell it, even if it comes off as being good, and I appreciate that in my friends. Sometimes, sir, I was worried how well we'll be able to perform in my AFCAT exam, and he told me there's no point stressing about it, just sit and study. And some of my other friends would just tell me it's okay, it won't be an issue, but he was the one who told me.
Why is it that other people are not as close as Umar? What are those qualities which are good in Umar, which made you feel that I can share it with him and the rest of the people you can't share?
Sir, Umar is a trustworthy person.
Give me some examples where he was trustworthy.
So whenever I needed his help, he was there.
Give me examples,
so
incidents.
Like I said, when my father and brother were sick.
That is one, already covered.
Yes, sir.
5 more examples. Where he was trustworthy, you decided that only Umar should be one whom you share your incidents or secrets.
Yes, sir. So, sir, at one point I wanted to improve my physical health, and Umar was basically my accountability partner. He would make sure that I would go to the gym with him because he was going to the gym before me. He would ensure that I was, he would basically follow up with me and take me to the gym with him if I was not feeling like doing, and I would do the same for him.
Keep telling me the reasons why you felt that physical was your weakness, or how did he help you? What made you feel that he is trustworthy? I'm not able to correlate things.
So he's trustworthy because whenever I needed help from him, he's always been there.
You needed help, he was going to gym, you wanted to go to gym. So what is it that makes it trustworthy?
Sir, anytime I've told him something in confidence, he's kept it in confidence.
How do you relate this as trust?
Sir, it's just anything that has happened, I knew if something goes wrong, I can count on him to help me out. That is what I consider trust, sir.
That is the meaning of trust.
Yes, sir.
But I want incidents, examples from your life with Umar where you found him trustworthy, which made you think that I can only trust this person and not trust other persons. And where was it that your other friends broke your trust?
So none of my other friends have broken my trust. I consider Umar my best friend because I've spent a lot of time with him. But it does not mean I do not trust any of my other friends. All my friends are people who I trust.
If you have not tested them, if you don't know whether they are trustworthy or not, if you have never tried out all these things with them, so how do you know Umar is more trustworthy?
So Umar is not more trustworthy. All of my, I have a small circle of friends, and all of my friends are people who I trust equally. Umar is my best friend, sir, because we spend a lot of time together and we have a lot of similar interests.
Give me those qualities and interests which are common. 5.
So both of us like to drive, and when we go back home and we will take free time to go on drives. Both of us like
drive where?
Around expert areas or just go on a drive as for fun.
But you said till 12th you were not permitted to drive. After
Yes.
that you decided to come to India. He must have gone to his location in MIT.
So, but we would meet almost every summer vacation.
So where do you go for drive?
In Oman, sir. We will go back to Oman and we do some vacation and we meet there.
Okay.
So we both like to have food, so we will go to different restaurants and explore food. His father runs a business, so he would go to help his father, and sometimes he would be tired. So if he did, I would go and pick him up. The same way when I had my internship back in Oman, I had to leave early and I could not take my father's car, so he drove all the way.
Are these called qualities?
No, so you asked me what is it that we do?
You said we have common qualities, we have common interests.
Yes, sir.
So what are the interests? I can't see this. You are helping each other.
Yes, sir. Another interest we have was that we both started learning about personal finance together. When it came to investing in the stock market.
Personal finance means?
So management of your wealth generation.
How much wealth do you have?
So not a lot. My father gave me pocket money and I saved pocket money.
How much total till now?
So most of it is in my mother's name. In my name, I might have 65.
66?
60 to 65,000 in between.
60 to 65,000.
Yes, sir.
And you learn management for that also?
Yes, sir. I learned how to go about it. So it is something that we started learning together.
Tell me, how do you go about it?
So we every time our parents send us money allowance or every time we earn money through one way or the other, we would decide a certain amount of it.
Tell me, what is that one way or the other?
So for me, it was only through photography. I did events in Pune, 2 events in Pune, and I earned money through that.
How much?
So one time I earned 1,500 and one time I earned 1,000.
But you have 60 to 65,000. How much are you managing? What are you managing? And what are you doing? I have not understood that.
So every time my father sends me money, I put aside a certain amount into an investment. Usually it is mutual fund which I don't have to manage actively. It just automatically gets deducted. And both of us are doing that, sir, because we learned about planning for the future. Umar has read a few books, I've watched a few videos and explanations. And
what do you mean by managing, and how much have you earned from it or saved, or what do you mean by managing?
Alright, so I have put aside, last I checked was 48,000, 50,000 around that. And the rest of it is come for interest. Interest occurs for that income.
How much is your pocket money?
So it's 30,000 a month.
30,000 a month?
Yes, sir.
Until now, how many days or months have you been getting pocket money?
So I've been getting pocket money since June of 2022. So it's been 23 months. And I started saving money since I started investing.
Okay, tell me the total money that you've got. If we assume June 2022, you said you started getting 30,000.
Yes, sir.
Tell me till date, how much have you got? Calculate exact answer and tell me.
So 6,90,000.
6,90,000.
90,000.
So you have only saved 65,000.
Yes, sir.
So how much is it in terms of percentage?
Sir, just under 10%.
Exact.
So it's around 9.2%.
Not around. I want exact answer.
So to how many decimal places?
2.
So 9.28.
9.28.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So tell me, how have you been managing that you could only save 9.28% till now?
Sir, what we wanted to learn was to maintain discipline because now, sir, we're getting money from our parents. But after this, both of us are planning on working for a few years before we go for our college. And what we have seen is
Working on discipline means?
so inculcating discipline, financial discipline. That is what one thing we both been trying to work with.
So when did you think or decide that you needed to inculcate this discipline?
So June of 2020.
June of
2023.
23.
Yes.
What made you think about it?
Sir, actually, there was a few courses in my college. One was named Financial Management, where they taught us how companies save their companies invest in money, and they taught us a term called future cash flow, net present value of money, future value of money. So, what they say is that they taught us about the concept of compounding in very basic sense, and I went and learned about it myself. It's basically that people who start saving money from a young age at an older age has.
How do you calculate compound the interest?
Sir, I'm sorry, I'm not able to recollect the formula.
Okay. And you said Umar is your good friend.
Yes, sir.
Do you have a girlfriend also?
Yes, sir, I do.
Who's that?
Meha, sir.
Neha.
Meha.
Meha.
Yes, sir.
MEHA.
MEH, yes, sir.
Okay. So tell me some qualities that you like in her and some qualities which you don't like. Minimum 3 each.
Okay. So Meha is of a caring nature. She is a supportive person, and whenever it comes to my aspirations, she will put aside her. If it's something that right now is into me, she will put aside her own goals and on her own interests to help me out with it.
Give me incidents, examples to understand everything that you say.
Yes, sir. So for AFCAT, when I was studying, she would first of all I would spend a lot of time in my own home, and I would not go to meet her. And she would every time I would meet her, she would quiz me over what I learned. So if I'm learning from PDF, I would send it to her. Then I would go to her house and she would quiz me over it. And if I was not studying for some reason, as laptop one day, she would hold me accountable. She would ask me why did you not study, and she would make sure that I studied more.
Okay. So what are these qualities that you are saying or talking about?
So she's a caring person, sir.
Okay. So this is incident or example for a caring person.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And so in my college also, I faced two failures. So where I applied for a position and I did not get it, and I was rejected. And she helped me get through that rejection. She helped me work hard for my.
What was that?
So one was head of think tank, the marketing society of our college.
Head of
think tank.
Okay.
The marketing society of our college.
And
the other one was for the position of cultural representative in our student council.
Okay.
So she helped me not only throughout the process of applying and campaigning, but she also supported me when I was.
How? She was also in your class?
She was in my batch, sir. There was 3 batches that worked for the campaigning, worked for the elections, and she was on my campaign, and she actively took part in it. It was not that I had to tell her, it was something she took her own initiative. She helped me out from where I could not, and it was of a lot of benefit.
Okay. What is this example for? Which quality?
So both of these count under she's caring and supportive, but this I would consider as supportive.
Okay. Other qualities?
So another quality that I appreciate about her is that she's a very goal-oriented and ambitious person.
Okay.
She is appearing for CAT and she has a plan to clear CAT. She's a very smart person overall. She's got good grades in college and in her school. And she's studied very hard for CAT. She went for IMS coaching in Pune. She's also gone back home for 3 months. She's staying away from her friends with her family just so that she can study and give her best attempt in the office. She wants to get into, she's only applying for the top colleges in IMS. And I'm fairly certain that she'll be able to do so.
Okay.
So these are three qualities. She's caring, supportive, and ambitious. So many things that I appreciate.
I asked you some more things.
So there are not a lot of deficiencies in her that I can find, sir. It's that sometimes their spikes are always inevitable. There might be some disagreements, but it will take us a while after an argument to come back to a correct consensus.
Tell me some incident when you had an argument. How did you settle it?
So I don't really recollect what the topic of the argument was because it was a small topic. But what we
Think of something. You can take your time.
Okay.
Tell me answer.
So one example that I can give you was that when I went back home to meet my friends, in Oman the issue was that I did not have cellular data. So I would only have to use Wi-Fi to use WhatsApp for communication. And because of that, and because I spent a lot of time out during my holidays, I did not communicate a lot. I did not wish a good morning, good afternoon.
Communicate with whom?
With my girlfriend. Sir.
Okay.
And she had an issue with that. And initially, I could not see what the problem was because in my eyes, I did not do anything wrong. But then it took us a while to discuss it out. And we had an argument over it. And after the argument, I realized where I was wrong. And I improved on it. But during the argument, it took us a while. So that was.
How many times you got punished in your school or in your college?
So in my school, I got punished once. In my college, I have not been punished.
Okay. Punished in school for what?
So when I was in 5th grade, we were playing during recess, and someone fell down, and I didn't see that we had fallen down, and I don't really know exactly how it happened, but a chair ended up on top of his hand, and I didn't see that had happened, so I sat on the chair, and he had a slight fracture on his hand. For that, I got punished. So my name went in the pink book register that was there, and I had to explain myself to others.
Okay. And tell me, what are those qualities which your girlfriend likes or dislikes in you? Three each.
So she likes that I'm ambitious. She likes that I have a clear goal that I've been wanting to do since a young age, and that goal has not altered.